I turned 50 and tried these 5 hairstyles. One actually made me look 30 again. You need to see this. But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly why certain haircuts instantly make women over 60 look fresher, brighter, and more confident, while others quietly add years without anyone realizing why. And don't leave before the end, because after I reveal all 5 haircuts, I'm going to share 3 exact phrases you can say to your stylist that could completely change your salon experience forever. These simple phrases can help you avoid the dreaded granny cut once and for all. Trust me, you'll want to write them down. And if this is your first time here, welcome to GRACEFUL&CHIC After 50. This is the channel where we prove every single week that style, beauty, confidence, and elegance do not have an expiration date. If that sounds like your kind of community, subscribe now and join thousands of women who refuse to become invisible simply because they've had another birthday. Now let's talk about something most haircut videos never explain. They show beautiful photos. They tell you what's trendy. And then they send you off to the salon hoping for the best. We're not doing that today. Because if you understand why a haircut works, you'll never have to blindly follow trends again. You'll know exactly what to ask for. And you'll understand why certain styles make women look effortlessly chic while others seem stuck in another decade. Here's the truth. After 60, your face changes. Not because something is wrong. Not because you've lost your beauty. Simply because life leaves its signature. Your bone structure shifts. Your facial volume redistributes. Your jawline may soften. Your hair may become finer. It may lose some density. It may not hold volume the way it once did. And none of that is a flaw. It's simply evolution. The problem begins when women continue wearing the exact same haircut they had 20 years ago. A haircut that worked beautifully at 40 may not be doing you any favors at 60. That's not because you've changed for the worse. It's because your haircut hasn't evolved with you. And that's exactly why today's list matters. These aren't random trends. These are styles designed to create lift, movement, balance, and energy. Haircuts that work with your features instead of fighting them. Let's begin. Cut number 1. The asymmetrical graduated bob. I decided to start with the boldest haircut on today's list because I want to challenge an idea that has been quietly following women for decades. Who decided that women over 60 should play it safe? Seriously. Who made that rule? Because some of the most stylish women in the world are over 60. And they're certainly not fading into the background. The asymmetrical graduated bob is for the woman who still loves making an entrance. The woman who isn't interested in disappearing. The woman who understands that confidence never goes out of style. Here's why this haircut works so beautifully. As we age, facial symmetry naturally changes. That's completely normal. But a perfectly symmetrical haircut can sometimes highlight those tiny changes. The asymmetrical graduated bob solves that problem brilliantly. One side falls slightly longer than the other. The eye naturally keeps moving. Instead of focusing on one specific feature, attention flows across the entire face. The result feels modern, effortless, current, and incredibly flattering. The graduated back creates a beautiful neckline and helps elongate the silhouette. Meanwhile, the longer front pieces frame the face and provide definition exactly where many women feel they've lost it over the years. This cut is especially gorgeous on silver and salt and pepper hair. The different lengths allow natural highlights and shadows to shine through beautifully. The dimension is already there. This haircut simply puts it on display. And here's something that might spark a little debate. I actually believe many women become more attractive with age. Not because they look younger, but because confidence replaces insecurity. Tell me if you agree or disagree in the comments. I have a feeling opinions are going to be divided on that one. Now let's move on to a style that can completely transform your appearance without dramatically changing your haircut. Cut number 2. The soft fringe refresh. This may be the most underrated transformation on today's list. Because technically, it isn't even a complete haircut. It's one strategic addition. Yet the impact can be remarkable. A well-designed fringe changes where people look first. And that's powerful. Instead of attention settling on forehead lines or a thinning hairline, attention immediately shifts toward your eyes. And your eyes tell your story. The key is choosing the right fringe. Not a heavy wall of bangs. Not something thick and severe. What you want is a bottleneck fringe. Shorter in the center. Longer toward the temples. Soft. Airy. Effortless. It frames the face without hiding it. And that's an important distinction. Many women worry that bangs will make them look older. But often the opposite is true. A properly designed soft fringe can instantly soften the entire upper third of the face. It can make your eyes appear brighter. It can make your haircut feel fresh again. And it can completely transform the way you see yourself in the mirror. The best part? You don't have to sacrifice your length. You don't have to commit to a dramatic haircut. You simply add one strategic feature and watch the entire look come alive. Now, before we move on to the next haircut, I want to ask you something. Have you ever had bangs before? And if you have, would you do them again? Let me know in the comments, because women seem to have very strong opinions about this topic. Now let's talk about one of the biggest myths in beauty. Cut number 3. The modern pixie bob. Somewhere along the way, women were told that short hair automatically makes them look older. That simply isn't true. What makes women look older isn't short hair. It's outdated short hair. And there is a huge difference. The modern pixie bob combines softness, elegance, and structure in a way traditional pixie cuts often don't. The back remains neat and refined. The front stays feminine and flattering. Longer pieces sweep across the forehead and around the face, creating movement and softness exactly where you want it. That diagonal shape draws attention upward toward the eyes and cheekbones. And upward movement is one of the most powerful visual tools in hairstyling. It creates energy. It creates lift. It creates youthfulness without trying to look young. And here's something fascinating. Many younger women spend hundreds of dollars on products designed to create texture in their hair. Meanwhile, many women over 60 already have natural texture developing in their silver strands. In other words, younger women are paying for something you may already have. That's why the modern pixie bob works so beautifully with gray and silver hair. Instead of fighting natural texture, it celebrates it. It allows your hair to do what it wants to do while still looking polished and intentional. And honestly, that's one of the biggest style lessons we learn as we get older. Stop fighting who you are. Start enhancing who you are. Now, we've already covered 3 incredible styles. But don't go anywhere. Because the next haircut may be the most effortlessly youthful style on this entire list. And after that, we're revealing the haircut many top stylists would recommend if they could only choose one style for women over 60. Trust me. The final 2 cuts are worth staying for. Now, let's continue. Cut number 4. The soft textured shag. If the modern pixie bob is proof that short hair can be elegant, the soft textured shag is proof that perfection is overrated. In fact, this might be one of the most liberating haircuts a woman can wear after 60. Let me explain why. Many women spend years trying to control every strand, every layer, every angle. Everything has to be smooth. Everything has to be perfectly symmetrical. Everything has to stay exactly where it was placed. But here's the surprising truth. Perfect hair can sometimes make us look older. Because perfect symmetry draws attention to every tiny asymmetry in the face. And after 60, every face has them. That's not a flaw. That's life. The soft textured shag takes a completely different approach. Instead of creating one solid shape, it creates movement. And movement is powerful. Movement creates energy. Movement creates softness. Movement creates youthfulness. The eye naturally follows the texture and layers throughout the haircut. Instead of focusing on one specific feature, attention flows through the entire look. That's one of the reasons this haircut feels so fresh and modern. It's effortlessly flattering. The secret lies in the layers. Not heavy layers. Not dramatic layers. Soft, strategically placed layers that encourage natural movement. And if you really want to elevate this style, pair it with a curtain fringe or a bottleneck fringe. Those face-framing pieces draw attention toward the eyes and cheekbones while creating a beautiful lifting effect around the face. Here's another reason women love this haircut. It doesn't demand perfection every morning. You don't have to fight with it. You don't have to spend an hour styling it. A little texture, a little movement, and you're ready to go. There's something incredibly chic about a woman whose hair looks effortlessly beautiful rather than overly controlled. And that's exactly what the soft, textured shag delivers. Now, before we move on to the final haircut, I want you to keep an open mind. Because if you've been watching and thinking, these styles are beautiful, but I'm not sure they're right for me, don't leave yet. Because the final haircut is different. In fact, if professional stylists had to recommend one haircut that flatters more women over 60 than almost any other style, this would be near the top of the list. It isn't the trendiest haircut. It isn't the boldest haircut. But it may be the most transformative. And many women who finally try it end up asking the same question. Why didn't I do this years ago? Let's talk about it. Cut number 5. The architectural bob. If I could sit down with every woman watching GRACEFUL&CHIC after 50 and recommend one haircut, this would probably be it. The architectural bob is the little black dress of haircuts. Timeless, elegant, sophisticated, and incredibly flattering. What makes this haircut so special is that it creates structure exactly where many women feel they've lost definition over time. Most traditional bobs create fullness around the jawline. Unfortunately, that's often the very area many women don't want to emphasize. The architectural bob approaches things differently. The line falls at or slightly below the jawline and creates a clean visual framework for the face. The result is subtle but powerful. The jawline appears more defined. The face appears more lifted. Everything feels more polished, more intentional, more modern. But here's the detail that separates a great architectural bob from an average one. The magic happens inside the haircut, not outside. Your stylist should remove weight internally while preserving a strong exterior shape. In other words, the haircut should have movement within the structure. That's why I want you to remember this phrase. Write it down. Take a screenshot. Save it in your phone. Blunt perimeter with internal texture. That single phrase can completely change the outcome of your haircut. The outer edge remains clean and strong. The interior remains light and movable. The result is hair that looks fuller, healthier, and far more expensive. And here's another hidden benefit. Blunt edges reflect light beautifully. That means your hair instantly appears shinier and healthier, even before you touch a single color treatment. That's the power of a well-designed shape. Now, if this list has already made you rethink your next salon appointment, tell me in the comments. Which haircut made you stop and think? That's the one. I genuinely want to know. And now, as promised, let's talk about the 3 phrases that could save you from ever walking out of a salon with a granny cut again. These may be the most valuable beauty tips in this entire video. Phrase number 1. I want upward energy, not roundness. This immediately changes how your stylist thinks about shape. Instead of creating a rounded silhouette that pulls everything downward, they'll focus on creating lift, movement, and structure. Phrase number 2. Please use point cutting or slide cutting for movement. This helps prevent stiff, dated lines. It creates softness, texture, and modernity. Exactly what we want. Phrase number 3. Show me the back before we're finished. This one is so important. Many women don't see the back of their haircut until they get home. By then, it's too late. Ask to see every angle before the appointment ends. If something doesn't look right, speak up. You deserve to love your hair from every direction. Write those 3 phrases down. Screenshot them. Take them with you to your next appointment. They could completely change your salon experience. And before we finish today, I want to leave you with something important. Because this was never really about hair. Hair was simply the excuse we used to have a bigger conversation. The real conversation is about settling. Or rather, refusing to settle. Because every single day, women walk into salons asking for something easy. Not necessarily because easy is what they want, but because somewhere along the way, they started believing that exciting choices belong to younger women. That stylish choices belong to younger women. That attention-grabbing hair belonged to younger women. I don't believe that. Not for a second. In fact, some of the most stylish women I've ever seen were well past 60. Why? Because they knew who they were. They stopped apologizing for taking up space. They stopped asking for permission. And they finally understood something younger women are still trying to learn. Confidence is always in fashion. So the next time you sit in that salon chair, don't ask yourself what a woman your age is supposed to wear. Ask yourself what makes you feel beautiful. What makes you feel confident? What makes you feel like the best version of yourself? Because style doesn't end at 60. For many women, that's exactly where it begins. Now tell me in the comments, which of these 5 haircuts would you book tomorrow if you could? And here's a question that might spark a little debate. Should the traditional granny cut finally be retired forever? Or do you think there's still a place for it today? I can't wait to read your answers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time. Join our GRACEFUL&CHIC After 50 family and become part of a community that believes beauty doesn't disappear with age. It evolves. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. And remember, you are not aging out of style. You are aging into it. Stay graceful. Stay chic. And I'll see you in the next video.